start with time. What we are not is of time. Yeah. And in this moment of time, you're not going to get out of you. This is the point of the message. Any attempt to get out of you is the you, so to speak. Yeah. This is a sort of like a sublime, not sublime, but a dead-end type futility that the mind just looks a different way. Yeah. It stops looking from self, this idea of you, and then it sees it. And really, the closest that the mental activity can arrive at self is selfing. Yes, there is no self. There never was one. But the selfing implies in time that we already are one. So when we're listening, and who's not going to listen to the only radio station? You're going to probably tune in and listen to it. And that radio station has you as already a thing. Yeah. So that thing that's already a thing, that's never been a thing, can't get out of the thing. And this is the message. I think there was a guy, U.G. Krishnamurti, you ever hear of him? I think he was saying this, I don't know if he was saying the same thing, but basically he says, you're not getting out of here or something, right? You're just a body and whatever. And it's true, I feel, in a sense. But there's something that's never been in here. See, that's the thing. Now, the something that's never been in here is in its own space of time, which is not time. Yeah. So, and there's a feeling that's different. Like when you get an aha, the aha is about something you already know, usually, right? You think it's not like a new idea, it's like a realizing another idea that's never been got. Yeah. So, and this message doesn't take any time because it's not of time, because you already are that. The only thing that you may seemingly need to do is negate the other activity. Yeah. How do you do that? Not as the other activity. When you're trying to negate the other activity, it's reinforcing the other activity. You negate it from seeing it, not from time. I don't know how to, you can't, but you know it already. You see a lot of moments out of time. Yeah. Those things are forgotten completely, very quickly, and the head just keeps reinforcing the story that you're not going to become something. But if you're going to try to become something, you're going to try to become something from a something. Yeah. So there's always going to be a something. You're looking for another something, let's say, but you're looking for that as a something. And this is the whole point. You're not a something. And then all of these things that keep getting reinvigorated and you keep going. And I saw it in drug addiction. Yeah. And then I felt the farthest I ever went in anything was drug addiction. And when I got whacked or hit that wall, it just backed up and went another way, spirituality. And then when that didn't work, it was some other way. Or usually then it became a mixture of things, like a synthesis. So just like they do in retreats sometimes now, they add a lot of shit. There's tantra, and then there's this, and there's maybe cooking classes and all like this. So because it's just the drive to get out of you is really the you. Yeah. Because getting out of you reinforces the you. Yeah. Now, the out is that you're not in. That's the thing. And that doesn't have a repercussion into the opposite. It doesn't. It doesn't go, you're not in and you're going to get, but you're in something else. No, it's just you're not in. Yeah. And so then that in, out, in, out gets stopped because the out is the biggest in. Yeah. Mostly more people are in this idea trying to get out of it. Not people, but you know what I mean? There's the getting out of it is the biggest aspect of it. But we want to get out of it as it. So it gets to an extreme where you want to experience your own absence. You want to be there to get it. And this is the beautiful news. That which is that motivation and that drive isn't you. Yeah. And the great reason you're never going to get it is because you are it. Yeah. Now that can never get it. Yeah. So what's the best thing it does? Its failures are a certain success. Yeah. When after you realize that you'll never get back, you'll never get back, you'll never get back, someday you may trip over the idea that you've never left. Yeah. Now, non-duality triggers that trip. So it doesn't have to be, like an accident. It can, if the non-duality understanding triggers that, yeah, it triggers that whack, yeah. And then it explains why you can never get back because you never left. It's incredible, yeah. And then let's say that door changes, and then suddenly a lot of the other doors, you see the same thing. You see the same thing that you're trying to get out of what you're not in, and you're trying to get into what you're not out. You're not, but the head is. This is the great news. The language sounds like it's always you doing it, but it's not you doing it. It's mechanical. Yeah, and it's not AI. It's not growing into a new understanding. It's getting every new understanding translated through the old understanding. It just doesn't, it tries to get constantly new understandings, but what's going to hold that understanding is an old understanding. And the old understanding, just like that story about the cameras, yeah, someone reminded me of that thing when I was on this trip. That idea of there's that huge camera, has 360-degree HD. It has a mobile tripod, the solar panel powered. It's incredible. The colors of its pictures are unbelievable. And there it is doing its, we're walking around and it sees this little, like brown up, like a cardboard little camera. If you want to stretch the definition of camera, it's called a camera. I used to use them in Asia a lot. And you would get this thing, it has a plastic lens and only one roll. And you would get maybe 12 pictures out of it, no more. And you bring it to the pharmacy, they develop it and throw the fucking camera out. Yeah. So there you are. So this big, large camera is walking around, sees this thing. It's curious, looks through it. And as it looks through it, it forgets itself, seemingly, by thinking it's the smaller camera. Yeah. Now, all of the imprisonment and everything else that may happen after this is not a real effect because it's not the smaller camera. But it's having effects or feeling defined or not feeling adequate enough because everything is being translated through the smaller camera. Yet this larger camera has not lost any aspect of it. It's just not accessing it. So, and this is when it gets trippy because it's looking through a plastic lens, can't see much. So it usually just hopefully points and hits and hopefully gets a picture. So of course it wants to get better or improved as the smaller camera. So it saves money and it buys an incredible Nikon lens. Yeah, thinks this is going to work, and it puts on the camera. But what's the first lens? It's not the Nikon lens. The first lens that's looked through is the plastic lens, and the plastic lens neutres all possibility of the improvement the Nikon you had hoped in. Yeah, because what you see through first is going to define how you're seeing after. So you're seeing through this plastic lens, and then it goes through the incredible Nikon lens. But the biggest influence, the Nikon influence, is completely neutered, and the plastic lens wins out, so to speak. Now, if you could see from the Nikon lens, you'd probably get a moon-like recognition of the cardboard camera, but you can't. You're looking, if you have this vague idea about the big camera, the only way you can entertain it as a cardboard box is that I'm, as the cardboard box, is going to experience the big camera. So even the presence of the big camera isn't triggering the recognition. Yeah. It's claimed by the small camera. Yeah. And now the small camera has you buying tons of Nikon lenses only to neutralize any effect they could ever have, except on your pocketbook and shit. Yeah. And of course, if you buy a lot of shit, you're gonna act like it worked. Yeah, because you don't want to look like an idiot. Yeah. I remember when I used to buy all that stuff for my gut, I was trying to convince myself it was working because I just spent $2,000 this year taking it religiously and shit like that. So here's the thing. Everyone now is talking to the large camera as the cardboard box camera, yes? But one person goes by and sees the larger camera and the cardboard box, but talks to the larger camera and says to the larger camera, you're not that. Finally, yeah, the larger camera entertains that possibility, and whammo, it hits the lotto, it wins because it's not that. That's the whole point. It's not that, never was, never will be. So suddenly it seems to reclaim or find this vast resource of being the larger camera, but it's not the case. It never had lost it. Yeah. Nothing had actually happened. It was like the Course in Miracles says, it was a causeless effect. Yeah. See, it thought it lost all of these qualities, but it was a causeless effect. It wasn't the cardboard camera. It never will be, never is. Yeah. This is the beauty of non-duality. This is not, oh, you recognize something and then you undo it. No. You recognize something as not you and you don't do shit. It's quite disarming. You don't. You watch, it can happen slowly or quickly. Your spiritual pants fall down and there you are. Yeah. Yeah. So the whole point of this talk and every talk is really not to talk to you. I'm sick and tired of talking to yous. It's to talk to that which is there, which is here now. And and maybe repetition will help, because all you need, it's sort of like spiritual sperm, you know what I mean? Only one sperm has to get through. And like a good spiritual teacher, it releases millions of sperm. Yeah. Because all it needs is one sperm. Now, which one we don't know. So here you go. A lot of spiritual sperm, and one hits the mother egg, and then the mother egg conceives of something. And what is that? I'm not that. That's all. It doesn't say I'm this and go off into incredible descriptions of being everything, all there is. Do you actually feel that as you're working through a Wednesday or Thursday? Probably not. Yeah. Because the action figure really can withstand a lot of spiritual storms. It just weathers them and it just keeps on keeping on. Yeah. And if you're starting there, it's not afraid of all your little ventures and all of your amazing things, because it's the one that's doing it all seemingly. There's no problem, and nothing is a threat to it because you're doing it. Yeah. Non-duality negates that, and you're just left with what's happening. Yeah. And then maybe how you see what's happening will change actually what's happening. Yeah. So, it's a simple invitation, really. And what arises and thinks it needs to do something will be a beautiful recognition of what you're not. Yeah. And instead of how the head has been using everything to imply what you are, we're going to use the same head ticker tape, the same, miss and dissent information that comes through, and we're going to greet it with, I'm not that. It's simple. Yeah. You're not going to have to stand like a sentinel and say, not that, not that. It take a little time, or well, I don't know how much time, probably not much, and you'll know that it's true. And so you won't be going, not that, not that. Your reaction, or the reaction to all of that streaming, will be not that. Yeah. It doesn't have to be followed or captured with a statement. It's just, you see it now. Yeah. And what happens? First of all, you don't really give a shit. You don't, so you're traveling lighter because you're not checking in to see if you're traveling lighter. You don't get like rulers and things how to measure and everything. You don't care anymore. Yeah. You realize you're never going to get out of here as here. This. It's great. Yeah. So transcendence is gone. 11th dimension, let's create our next life or whatever. All this magical shit to try to feel better about never getting out of here. Never getting out of here is the final infinite disclaimer of what you're not. That's all. And then I don't know, you're here on a whatever it is, and the funny thing, every thought that's come through this head for months, none of them have been kept. You know what I mean? None of there's no thoughts that have gone through today are in my pocket. They just seem to be, there seem to be little bubbles that hit a surface and pop, and then they're not to be remembered. Yeah. And the beautiful thing is, seeing the thoughts are emphasizing the awareness, not the thoughts. Where before, seeing the thoughts as mine, I lost the emphasis of awareness, and I was seen as the doer or the thinker of the thoughts. That has changed. So yeah. So now the thoughts are seen, but the sense where you are in this little situation is at the point of awareness, not after the point of thinking of things or feeling things or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. I hope it helps. A little recognition of this goes a long way in time. It does. I mean, the greatest qualities or greatest solutions in time are not of time. And we're not of time. So we actually are the solution we've been looking for. Or it says, what's looking is what you're looking for. And what are you usually looking for? A solution to something. And basically, what's looking is the solution you're looking for. Yeah. Yeah. The seeker is the sought. So seekers seek a lot of solutions. Yeah. So the seeker is the solution. Not after it lifts a lot of spiritual weight or makes amends for everything it ever possibly done, or anytime you stepped on anyone's toes. No, all of that is dealt with when you're in Rome, as the Romans do. Yeah, but you're inherently what you're looking for now. So what is it going to affect? The looking for it, obviously. You're going to never look for what you are ever again, because you're looking from what you are. Yeah, nice. Here, it's the last answer. So that's an incredible answer. Usually answers start in a period of time, you look for other answers. Yeah. You want to add something or synthesize something else. It seems to be a combination of answers because no one answer answers everything. But to me, this is the last answer. Though it's the first answer. Yeah, it's here in time, it's the last answer. Yeah, and the last answer is pretty good because it takes away the need for any other answers concerning this topic. And now you can be concerned about other topics. Yeah, yeah. And with the knowledge that all topics come and go. So really, are you going to get that steamed about something that's going to come and go? I don't think so. No. So, yeah, I'm stoked. Going back east is, uh, It's like being a mailman and you know no one's home at the house, but keep delivering the mail. It's great, really is. Yeah. Hey, you know, they left a long time ago. Nope. Keep delivering the mail. Keep delivering the mail. Yes. The head always looks for the what's in the envelope, but the envelope's the message. Yeah. Yeah. It's full of the envelope's full of nothing. Space. You open it up, you don't get anything. After a while, you see, wow, I don't get anything anymore. Fantastic. And you get weaned either quickly or slowly off of these old ideas. Somebody just sent me thing, can I chat for a moment? Yeah, I'm right here. We gotta can I chat for a moment? Yeah, well, this is a satsang chat. Yeah, yeah. Also, one thing, this isn't personal, but if you want to get the best of Paul Hedderman, listen to the talks. Sometimes when you want to speak for an hour personally, it misses the point to me. Yeah. Sometimes I'd like to get the money to have an hour private talk, but in my feeling of it, I'm not that into it because I feel the greatest thing that's going to relieve the personalness is an impersonal message. It just is. Yeah. To realize everything that we're now going to talk about is not you. Yeah. Will probably shorten the conversation. I don't think any time I've been asked to do an hour, we ever even got to an hour. It's usually pretty quick. Yeah. It's like being that psychiatrist and your specialty is dealing with what's not happening. And people sign up for an hour session and then Mr. Smith comes in, starts talking about what's not happening. I say, hey, great, that's not happening. See you next week. Isn't that the best message? If I actually agree that what's not happening is happening, I think I've stepped on the flypaper already. Yeah. How am I going to get out of there? So a lot of people come here and they have a question before anything, and then usually they forget about it as the talk goes. Check it out. Yeah. So I just wanted to do that as a blanket apology because some people have been getting in touch with me and I don't respond. And it's probably because of that. Yeah. 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 All right. Kathleen? No, it's
Yes,
a
sir.
finance.
Here I am.
But
Yes, sir.
yeah, anyone?
Anyone? I don't see any hand. Oh, there we go. We just asked for hands and we got Philip Pratt. Come on in, Philip.
Philip? Oh, here, I see you. Oh, in Brisbane. Brisbane. Nice to see you, Philip. I can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Now I can. Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, got a bit of a croaky throat, but I haven't been on here for a while. So nice to see everyone. I just kind of wonder if you might expand a bit more on the idea of lack of interest. You know, losing interest. You talk about it like it's the most powerful thing you can do, and
Yes.
and then there's this idea that all spiritual practice and all religious processes and everything else is kind of not going to get you there. You know, it's kind of like it's all just barking up the wrong tree sort of thing. Are you saying that it's
Nothing's going to get you there. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't have any opinion about one thing is going to get you there and other things aren't. Nothing's going to get you there because you're already here. This is it. Yeah. Yeah. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just the lack of interest. When I first think about it, it seems to be something quite dangerous. If you lose lack of interest, it's like everything just everything just sort of falls away in terms of your
Isn't
interest.
that great, Philip? You just got a free exposure to what you're not. The thing that has the fear that losing interest would be dangerous. That's coming from the head, I feel. Yes.
Right. Okay.
See, when it gets threatened, it says you got threatened. There's a difference between it getting threatened and you. Yeah. As the Course in Miracles says, the attack thoughts are attacking your invulnerability. Yeah. That means you can't be attacked or affected by any attack. That's what it means. It's a quality that is not earned. It is a given quality. Inherently, you're beyond an attack of thoughts. Yeah. So the loss of interest is truly in the interest in you, because most things that you're interested in are playing a role of a reflective surface to see you in it. Yeah. So when you lose interest in all these things, that reflection gets weaker and weaker because it doesn't have its own legs to stand on. It's living by borrowed light. And we're walking around as light, and our light gets reflected on these things we see, and it's being used to project an image. Yeah. And that image is not of light. Yeah. So we don't see our original face. Yeah, this is how I see it. So loss of interest, I didn't come up with this. I just watched it. I lost a lot of interest, and I was a whole fucking lot better. Wow. Which I thought was, like you said, dangerous. I just thought there's no other way. If I'm going to arrive somewhere, I got to be interested in getting there. And if the interest is getting obscured by many things, I got to sharpen it and get it like surgical. Yet all I saw was a myopic obsession with this idea of me through all of that reflection. So I lost interest. And like in recovery, we say so much pivots on loss of interest in self completely. The whole program of recovery, they start describing these great effects, and they're all conditioned on losing interest in self. Yeah. Now, self may be incredibly interested to get these effects, but the effects become available when you lose interest in self. But self is extremely interested in getting these effects as self. This is what I'm talking about, losing interest. Yeah. And I don't have any opinion about certain things, but I believe fundamentally you cannot arrive at where you already are. Arriving can be a way of life. That's great. Yeah. I mean, I'm involved, let's say, with recovery. It's a way of life, my community. Do I believe I'm going to arrive somewhere that I'm not already through recovery? No, I don't. I believe I've never left where I am. I believe my head has left it. The interest and attention were directed otherwise. But ultimately, I do not believe you can leave everywhere. Yeah, just can't. I don't believe you can find a special somewhere and everywhere. You can believe there's a special somewhere, but I believe all the beliefs about special this and special that and special somewheres gets negated by the fact of everywhere. Everywhere means everywhere. Yeah. So if you are anywhere, you're everywhere. Anywhere in everywhere is everywhere. Anywhere is everywhere. Yeah.
It undermines a lot of things, doesn't it?
What you get is all the moving don't describe that it's you moving. It's just an assumption that's wrong. That's been taken for granted. And a whole story's built on it. Yeah. If that story was Yahoo working great, you'd probably keep riding that horse. But for some of us, the horse is dead, and we're still thinking about getting it a new saddle for Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, it's time to get up and see what something else, So that's how I see it. So I don't have any problem with anything. But when they're trying to arrive at somewhere I believe we already are, I've lost interest in that promotion of oomph. You know what I mean? And then it may take lifetimes for you to arrive at that somewhere. That to me is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there. Yeah. So,
Right.
and you want to use these things to emphasize something that because it's so wrong, it doesn't seem wrong, because so many movements are towards something, which I believe most of them are reinforcing and away from something without knowing it. It's a nice target to use because a lot of people put a lot of, not people, but a lot of intention and interest and momentum and value have been put in that at the expense of our inherent value, I humbly believe. Yeah. If it's you that's going to find out what you are down the road, you're probably going to find out more about you than what you are. Yeah. Yeah.
So in fact, you could say that there's no one losing interest in you anyway.
No, there's a losing interest in the someone. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. You lose interest in the someone, and then you gain interest in a lot of other things. But you know what? You've lost interest in a someone, so you're not taking note about everything you're gaining interest in. Because that's what a someone would do. A someone would make it special and put a blog out. And all of my 1 million followers, this week I've gotten interested in something. And I'm promoting, not really, but a brand to buy this, yeah. Yeah. You lose interest in that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can have wonderful moments and they don't get noted. They don't get framed or pictured or written. Yeah. You basically, winds have pushed up against tons of things. They very rarely leave with any of that thing they pushed up against. The wind hitting a lot of shit hasn't left what it hit and got heavier. It's like a complete whack and nothing is taken with it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the wind went through a forest. It got very heavy by the time it got out of it blew right through the forest, the least resistance. Oh, I see cork or pork, only in tornadoes. So, there's a branch in the wind, not really, and that branch is going to be dropped on someone's house. The wind isn't really about collecting weight, is it? I don't see that.
Yeah, indiscriminate.
Can you imagine if that's our nature more than a thing that accumulates things that hit it as a thing? Maybe you can move through tons of things and not get hit by any of them. Yeah. I mean, the beauty about having a logic is to see that it's failed. Yeah. And see that it's defined by the program it is in. It cannot leave that program. As the Course of Miracles puts it beautifully, the brain interprets to the body of which it is a part. The next sentence is, this you should know. Yeah, very, very profound. The brain taking everything in, yes, just like light hits it, takes it in, but the meaning it gives light is what is a trip, yeah? So it comes in and the brain takes everything that it's pulling in and interprets it to the body of which it is a part. What else would you expect? A part of the system is probably going to be there to reinforce the rest of the system. Just, I would imagine. Yeah, if a system had a vague rebellious thing, it would probably get rid of that aspect because it needs a homogenized system to continue. And just like with you saying if it seems dangerous to lose interest, that's the system, one of its sirens going off when it's getting close to something other than the system. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, now the head loves to take satsang and non-duality and make it something quickly, and then it will love that topic. Yes, it will practice non-duality for years and feel like a great martyr because you're going to get shit, nothing. The more you practice, the least you get. It's insane. But hey, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, the face can see its image out of memory looking in a puddle at a certain point. Everything, even the dullest surface, reflects it after a while. When the obsession with self is really going, it doesn't even need a surface, glass-like surface. It sees itself in everything. Yeah. Yeah. I just was too heavy. I got claustrophobic. It was like a marathon runner stuck in a closet. I wanted to get out, and I would do almost anything to get out, even if it was super temporary. Yeah, that showed me something. The ferocity of my wanting to get out was something else, man. And of course it was misdirected, but there was a kernel of truth there. It was. And thank God I lived through the addiction and everything, and that kernel of truth had wisdom in it. Yeah. Yeah. I was just going about it the wrong way because any way would be the wrong way. Yeah. I thought I was looking at the Monopoly board and I was going to choose the boot. I was a boot already. As soon as I saw the space as a Monopoly board, I had already signed in. Yeah.
You're on the board. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're already entrenched. We're not, but there's an already entrenchment in this. And of course, it's only this that would like to get out of it. I had it. I had it when I was chanting, I'm not a body. I want to be free as God has created me. I realized that the only thing that would chant it's not a body is a body. There's nothing that's not a body would chant it's not a body.
I
Yeah.
think I got confused with the idea of losing interest was the same as letting go. Everyone, all you need to do is just let it all go. But in fact, that is just more.
No, because that's an order the action figure cannot live up to.
Yeah.
Let it all go is long overdue. It's assuming there's a quality in you don't seem to be able to activate as an action figure. I don't see active action figures letting it all go usually. Yeah. This is the idea. You're expected to do stuff you cannot possibly do as an action figure. Oh, just let it all go. This is what normal people would say to me. Just stop drinking. Stop using drugs. Oh, what? I can't. No, of course you can. Go to church. Stop using drugs. You're not getting it. Yeah. So this is yeah. Yeah, it's a loss of interest in that which thinks is directing the interest. It's a loss of interest in the sense of being a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. The body is here to represent doership, feelership, smellership, thinkership. That's what it's here to do. It's an easy object to keep remembering that it's the doer, the thinker, the feeler, was the doer, the thinker, and the feeler, will be the doer, thinker, and feeler. Yes. So the body is sort of like a picture of all those reflections. All those reflections, the body is a remembrance of that. Like the Course in Miracles says, we see only the past. Yeah. Yeah. So, yes, you lose interest, not in things, you may lose interest in some things, but can you imagine having interest in presence, having interest in now, having interest in space, having interest in sound? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, awareness doesn't have to go through so many intermediaries. Yeah. Yeah. We're awake, Philip, like it or not. Many of us don't like it from the you. So we take drugs, pills to go to sleep, pills to do that, da-da-dee. We want to exert some power and control because things don't seem to listen to us. Yeah, our own thoughts don't listen to us, and our feelings don't listen to us, and da-da-da-da-da. And we're scared shit. We're not going to get what we want and lose what we have. And all of this is not of us. Yeah. Yeah. So losing interest in that, I think, is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But we are awake. Everyone here is awake. If you feel like at one time you weren't, well, congratulations. You succeeded. You're awake. I think it's inherent, but maybe it was just through incredible effort and exertion. But it doesn't matter. There's no need to exert effort now. You're awake. Yeah. You're seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching. Doesn't seem like you're doing much to do that, are you? I don't feel. Do you sweat when you're seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching? Not usually, unless you take chilies or whatever. Then you make it sweat. Is it any effort, thought to respond to conscious contact? No. Are you looking to respond? No, it seems like that's it. There's conscious contact. This place needs to be contacted with by some consciousness to be a place. So consciousness gives life to all these appearances, and then we do a dance with it. And part of the dance is we believe we're not awake. But that's based on awakeness. And then we believe we are awake, and it's still based on awakeness. Now, in this game, I rather believe I'm awake to match with the awakeness than to believe I'm asleep, which doesn't match with the awakeness. And there's going to be a whole lot of rationalizing, a whole lot of shit to try to make that make sense, that I am seemingly asleep to being awake. Yeah. But if you are seemingly awake to being awake, it's very nice, very easy, because you've actually won the lotto. It's true. Yeah. All you're betting on the magical shit. No, what? You mean I am that? Yes. Wow. I would hope that's the end of the spinning of the roulette, or losing interest in all the spinning of the roulette wheel, because it's going to keep spinning. Yeah. But you're probably going to lose interest in it. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yes.
That's great. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, Philip. And if Paul or Philip works every moment of every day, and then we pass away, it's going to be as if we didn't use any moment or anything to do anything else, because what is. It can't be done or undone. Yeah. And you are that. You can live to 110, you are that. You can live to 60, you are that. Yeah. You are that. Yeah. And I humbly believe when you leave this, it's going to be like it never happened, because it's just like yesterday. When you look at yesterday from today, it looks like it never fucking anything happened, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every day just falls off a cliff. You're seeing here, do you have a rear view mirror? None of us do. there's no rear view mirror. Everything just falls off the cliff. Like, what's his Douglas Harding on having no head? Yeah. It just, everything comes in, and then we're not equipped with rear view mirrors. Are we? Now, a car in time is, but obviously we don't need rear view mirrors because there's nothing there. All we got to do is see ahead. You would think we would be equipped with rear view mirrors if there was, oh, wow. But really, don't you have to think about the past? The past is an idea that's dormant. We wake it up and then we bring it into the present. We don't, the head. They're very different. We do not, the head does. The head's constantly marshaling its forces of yesterday and tomorrow to convince us now of something. It does. Its proof for now is always yesterday and tomorrow. Wow. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, Philip. I'm happy you've showed up again. I restrained from giving any Zen bitch slap. Yeah? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else? I'm just an old man ranting and raving. I've seen the hidden corridors of the insane asylum. Yeah. I wasn't supposed to go down there. And I looked in every door, I didn't find anybody. And then they pacified me with Jello. And I went back to the fucking TV room. Watched the show of Paul, the syndication. My life is Paul.
It's funny, as you get older, the more you realize when you get older, you realize there's so many more things start to accumulate of things you'll never do, you'll never achieve, you'll never, my mother passed recently, and she had this wonderful moment where she had just a very ordinary life, but she had absolutely no regrets, she just was totally okay with the whole thing, and it was just a wonderful moment to experience for me.
Well, you can have it right now.
Yeah.
You can have that experience that came at your mother's end now. Yeah.
Yeah.
More ordinary, the better, because that's not offering a giant surface of reflection for the head. Why do you think these people that are involved with stuff try to live a simple life in a certain way? Yeah. The head, it's like the head is like the eye of Sauron. It's looking for the ring, and by that specific looking for the ring, it misses a whole lot. So you can be under the radar of the eye of Sauron in an ordinary looking life. You know what I mean? But it really, really it can see clearly the peaks and yeah. How would you notice in temples and stuff? Do they take vacations every year? They go around the world. Some of them are in there for 50, 60 years. Have you ever noticed how they look when they're walking the same walk around the fucking temple? They're fucking wide awake, and it's like a new fucking day and it's like they're taking the longest path that you'll never find in a fucking forest or an extreme Yosemite trip. They're seeing it walking around something they've walked around 60 years. Mind precedes everything. I used to watch this guy, and I used to do Tai Chi in Golden Gate Park in San Francisco, Tuesday nights, I think. And while we were doing the thing, there was this monk in full regalia, a Buddhist monk, just walking around this little area every Tuesday. So same time, looked exactly the same, had a smile on his face. before he got there, when he got there, while doing there, and when he left. And then I just do the shit, and he should just walk every Tuesday. Our class was canceled. I'm sure his walk wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't. I'm sure if you were there, you'd see him probably still. Yeah. What do you think? This is the same old, fuck, I've seen that rock before. No, it was like a kid. Didn't have to have 8,000 miles. He saw 8,000 miles in a half a quarter mile. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Some people, the farthest, they're the greatest travelers and they're bedridden. They have bone cancer. They can't move. Their husband have to lift them up to take them to actually their bed is where they're there all day. But that person's traveling. Yeah. Yeah. So awakeness is very fresh. It is very fresh. It will give a veneer or a luster to everyday life. You'll be having lovely vistas and you won't be on a cliff. Yeah. You won't have to go to a national park. There's nothing wrong going to a national park. Yeah. But you may not have to. Yeah. This is the last answer I found. And the way I looked, there was never going to be an answer, last answer. There was always going to have to be more. And I put an end to it. And for this topic that seemed important to me, even then, it's answered all the questions. I haven't had a question in years, really. Yeah, I never ran into anything like non-duality. I haven't. That and getting struck sober are probably the two biggest movements in this experience of life here. Getting struck sober and fucking non-duality. Yeah, it's beautiful. So such a beautiful, because it's an invitation to an already established place. Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful, I feel. So I hope humbly we hold the space so that sense can be permeating even through a Zoom. Yeah, and filling up the square. It's the same space. All these, everything makes compartments, but basically, yeah, we're just appearing in space. And I would say we're the space actually we're appearing in, but whatever, you know what I mean? We got the horse in front, we got the cart in front of the horse. We got appearances in front of the reality. Well, that's all right. It's not, we're not doing it. We're just seeing it that way. Yeah. All right. Anyone else? Zoe Banks, how are you? Good.
Paul Clifford has his hand up for his virtual hand up for you.
Clifford from Chiang Mai. Are you still in Chiang Mai, Clifford?
Yes, I am, Paul.
Great.
Still here.
I spent years in Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
The hospital.
About 6 months ago, I was at a series of events that, let's say, didn't go my way, and I was thinking about leaving, and I just sat with it for a week or so. It was quite dark, and but it was just aware that I was just going to be running away from myself, and trying to get new situations and that kind of thing. And I had 3 particularly what I'd call, I don't know, dark nights of the soul. And it's like 20 years clean and sober, and I've come to this, but it was kind of necessary. A lot of from that moment on, when I got through my 3 dark nights of the soul, I started to hear things differently. In the sense of I heard descriptions rather than prescriptions, I think is the best way to put it. So, like your analogy with the cheap camera. when my head's hearing that, it's trying to sneak up above the brownie camera to look through the lens of the all-seeing lens, and sort of unaware that that was part of the camera trick. And it was a kind of realization that there's nothing I can do. You know, we're from, like you, Paul, we're from a 12-step recovery community, and we're told it's an action program, and you know, this sense that I've got to purify myself or whatever. Suddenly it was like an aha moment. I haven't got to purify myself, you know, for the simple reason that I can't.
Yes.
There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I have to do. And it wasn't a conscious idea to lose interest in that. It just showed up. And one of my, if you like, Bibles of spirituality, we've spoken about before, is A Course in Miracles. And I started to doubt myself because for quite a few years I've been losing interest in worldly things. And then when I asked the head, what's that about? It just got, because you're ungrateful, you're not sociable, you know, that's its answer. And but I was going back to A Course in Miracles, and the description, which I'd previously heard as a prescription, is you're going to lose interest in worldly things. And I thought that, you know, I thought I should be grateful for this and be grateful for that. But I'm not always feeling grateful. And then it occurred to me that's because I am grateful. You know, I don't have to have the sensation all the time or keep saying it. Yeah, and analogies will go so far, and then they're kind of conceptual, and they're helpful for a while. And I heard a good one the other day about your head or the ego, whatever you want to call it. It's like the clown coming onto the stage after the ballerina, accepting all the applause when it's done nothing. Although that sounds like the bad news, that's the good news, because it was also the thing that done nothing in a bad sense. You know, it didn't do anything. You know, this sense of blaming and taking credit. Yeah, I got to be honest, I don't feel like 100% out the woods. I haven't had like a one-off awakening, but I've had a few glimpses. I can feel my head, I can see my head trying to claim it. It's because of what I've done or my suffering or whatever. But that just falls into the category of the description rather than the prescription.
Yes.
You know, and it kind of makes me giggle as opposed to want to comment on it. That when I see that, I get a little laugh pops up in me, and it ends the conversation, kind of thing. And like you say, I was expecting for quite a few years for the tone of language in my head to change or get purified, and it fucking doesn't. You know, but you see it from somewhere else. You see it in its, I don't know, it's raw form, and it's almost like the radio in my head gets moved to over there, you know, and I can, oh, that's not me. And for a while I had to say that psychologically, that's not me, that's not me. Like I did early recovery, I shall not drink, I shall not drink, until the question went away. I noticed that I didn't have to think I shall not drink. A certain way of life kept me away from drugs and cocaine, and a certain way of being as opposed to doing will keep me away from the reality that I'm not my head. Yeah, so there's kind of a calmness even when the head is very active. It's been that way for a while now.
Right.
Not 100%, but I know that place can never be totally obscured. You know, this is the best way I can put it. It's, yeah, it's quite comforting. There's one kind of question that I had for you, Paul, if you don't mind me asking. I for a while, probably the last 10 years of my life in 12-step groups, I kind of sensed that although we're out of addiction to substances, I've noticed that many of us are still in a prison. We've just got a higher floor with better service. And when I reflect with my head, it's that's because you're arrogant, you think you're special. But it feels, you know, because it's a conscious thought, it obviously is kind of in my head, but I want more, and I've experienced more, Paul, of there's more to life than achieving stuff and not taking drugs. I don't just want a collection of fortunate events.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've had a taste of, if you like, reality, and I still go to 12-step meetings. I still help the newcomer, take them through steps 4 to 9, and that still feels rewarding. But I see a lot of evidence, especially people in later, you know, the last few years, people between 15 and 25 years recovery committing suicide, where the day before they're telling you the glory of God, and I don't see that as a happy ending for myself, and I can't work my way out of it. You know, if I just pray more or meditate for longer. Yeah, so have you got a view on that? It feels like I'm being anti 12 steps, and I'm fucking not, Paul. It saved my life, but there's a bit of a conflict.
Yes, but here, humbly, I believe the basis of here is an addiction. So the head is addicted to this idea of being a self.
Mm.
All right. So the only way I can compare that is to the addiction that dragged me the farthest, and that was cocaine addiction. Now, it just swallowed my all life, all day, every day. But I had never at any moment thought I was cocaine. Never. Very, very distinct difference between cocaine and me. But I humbly believe the head is addicted to this drug self, and we're living as this drug self, and then going through a lot of attractions and aversions to addictions. Yeah. With the hopes of getting out of the original addiction, literally.
Mm.
And self cannot get out of self. And so that may end up, if not seeing that, you may want to silence the thing that's defeating you, which is the head. So people shoot themselves in the head.
Mm.
Yeah. So this is not getting out of the addiction of self, seeing you're not that which is addicted to self. It's it's totally different. See, we're using a description, not a prescription. So we're not describing a condition and giving you a prescription. The describing the condition is the description and the prescription. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, it's a futility that has a huge hallelujah around it. Some people that I've met do not want to go to that point of futility. It would mean like nothing means anything and whatever. It has a lot of, the head says what it's going to be like. They're completely wrong, but my view. But this futility has been the saving grace. It became so obvious I was never going to get it. It finally opened me up to see I'm not that I. So fantastic. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So it tried a lot of doors, none of them opened. And because, you know, it was thinking, it was trying to push the door this way and it opens that way. But how to get super frustrated, and then it realized that, yeah, so everything has great value.
Mm.
And this, to me, the great value of non-duality is failure.
Yeah.
Because after you've tried everything that you could think of to become what you are, you realize you can never achieve it because you are that already. That's beautiful. I mean, so here's a long line of frustration that's given a great value. And this is whatever you want to call the hand of grace. This is how grace communicates when I read this life. It uses whatever has happened and induces a huge amount of value out of it. Yeah, where you would have said that was the worst thing that ever happened to me. After this thing starts seeing through your little action figure, you see it was the best thing that ever happened to you. So just evokes its glance sees value. So yeah. So to me, futility is the way. Loss of interest, failures are the greatest successes. Yeah. You are so lucky that you never arrived at where you are. You are. So wouldn't be it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have arrived at where they thought they were, and if they realized it wasn't it, but they were still there. What we're looking for is the complete absence of you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that absence doesn't mean the you isn't appearing. You've just lost a sufficient amount interest in it where it doesn't capture the hearing and turn it into listening. That's all. Stays on the level of hearing it. Yeah. Every once in a while, it's almost like a solar flare. You'll listen to it. And then if you don't restrain a pen and tongue, you realize it was wonderful not to listen to it. When storm that was brewing passes without no one getting hit with a drop of the rain. That's pretty good. And especially you. Yeah, there's a lot of failure is great value. Yeah. And failure is the greatest success in my view. Yeah. How long have you tried to get out of you as you? I'd say since I was 6 years old, I've been a master at it. First, it was reading science fiction and Edgar Allan Poe, then horror movies, then alcohol. That wasn't enough. Drugs, spirituality, back to drugs. Yeah, it's just, yeah. All that failed miserably, and it's been my greatest success. Not mine, but the greatest success. Yeah, so, yeah. This isn't about prescribing anything. Just tell the truth. The head is addicted to this idea of you, and you're not going to break it. I mean, haven't you noticed? This is how a lot of people invalidate their own the idea that they're awake, because they assume that all they think is you would be affected by the Great Awakening. And then they feel like they get disqualified because a lot of them doesn't get affected at all by the Great Awakening. It keeps doing what it's doing because it's mechanical. Has nothing to do with a you that's choosing to do it. Yeah. All right, man, we got to get going.
Okay. Thanks, Paul.
Oh, we have Mike with looks like he wants to say something.
Bring him in.
Come on in, Mike.
I know you want to jump off, Paul, but first
No, I
I just
don't.
want to say
All right.
thank you.
I just
Oh, you
took a
don't?
look
Okay.
at the people I'm going to have to talk to. When I jump off, I want to stay
Oh,
on.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to wring you out of all your power and energy. I want to say thank you again. And, you know, it's weird because losing interest, or in the past, and it's been happening more and more, there's that thing that tells me that I should be interested. Like, oh, you should be worried about this. You should be. And that loss of interest is so new, that awakening so new that it's weird to have that sense of freedom, if that makes sense, and to like really feel in this kind of neutral place of not having interest. I mean, I was so interested in everything and just on the borderline, on the border of neurosis, that I'd wake up at 3 a.m. and so many things would go through my mind and start interesting me. And I'd lay in bed for 3 hours in a warm, comfortable bed, nothing going wrong, and just the mental activity. And I want to share something with you that you made really clear. And this has helped me immensely, not just in writing inventory on my own, but helping others. Looking at the mental activity that precedes the emotion of fear. What a concept, dude. I was constantly trying to figure out why I was in fear. And I couldn't really get to the cause or the condition of the emotional state because I wasn't really clear on what was even going on in these mental states. So that's just been big, man. I've been listening for about 3 years and it's really changed. Dude, you've helped so many people because I sponsor a lot of people. And the presentation of this thing, especially looking at page 62, 63, blows people's minds. They don't understand that whole self thing. And when you really break it down, it doesn't say myself. It says ourselves. It pluralizes, talking about the group.
Yeah.
But when you show somebody there's no way of entirely getting rid of self without God's aid, like it's hard to unsee that. It really is, man. And the way that was discussed has changed the course of my path. Well, pathless path, right? In the last couple of years, dude. And it's just been very valuable here to just sit and listen because I had some miserable times sitting in these things for a while because I wanted to understand so badly. And I'd call Kurt and I'd be like, I don't know, this guy's out of his fucking mind. I know those type of dudes. I hung out with them on Long Island. I don't know. I don't really this and that. The head's just doing everything it can do to separate me from help, right? And I just kept coming, man. And you started resonating with my spirit.
There you go.
You started resonating with the story of the cocaine, the vodka, the inability to stay stopped, the doing everything you could do to see that there was nothing you could do and you were just going to be dominated by this thing. And that complete failure of self is what makes me want to move towards the power greater than self constantly in the day that I'm in. So
That's the thing,
thanks.
bro. The fear of the complete failure is the mental success. The fear of that, yet remember how many people had to have a bottom to be brought to that point that they recognized they were fucked, or they are fucked, and that they're not managerial quality. The head would do anything to put that off, and it did, at the consequences of fucking pitiful, incomprehensible demoralization. Yeah. And then to see that that's not you, it's such a fucking gift. I mean, when I was in the mix, I wanted it not to be me, but that wasn't it. Yeah, I would have done anything for it not to be me. That wasn't it. It was really a losing of interest in as me, was it? Yeah, yeah. So thanks, man. Thanks, Mike. It's always a pleasure to see you. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I could have been a friend of so many people, but they left the Zoom early. They said, this motherfucker is crazy. Yeah, maybe I am.
Paul, I think that William is raising his actual hand.
All right, good.
Unmute yourself there, William.
William, Can't hear you.
Okay. I'm calling to thank you for the,
Got it.
So-
We got it now. Yeah.
and also I have an issue. I have an issue with prayer.
With prayer.
With prayer, yes. I have several people in my family which are either in homes or very sick. Now, I kind of like pray for them.
Great.
Now, something that's out of order, or I mean, can I continue doing that even though I know that
Yeah,
my-
why not?
my ability to transmit any kind of energy to these people is nil? But I love them all so much that I want to do something, you know?
Yeah. Any envelope with that stuff you just said in it is going to get to the target. So could be prayer. I could make a bag for them or something, you know, or bring an animal in and see them. Yeah. It's not the vehicle itself, it's the meaning that's given to it. So the meaning you just shared will carry the prayer to where it needs to go. The prayer is not going to carry that. That sense of what you were just said is going to carry the prayer. Yeah. Prayer is like every other vehicle. It's more what puts the prayer in is the fuel, I feel. And you just stated how much you love them and you want to yeah. That communication get through all the scrambling. Yeah. It's like a lot of times when someone is in trouble, not saying anything and just sitting there is pretty fucking potent. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, pray away, brother.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You know how many people they'll write something to you. Now, you're not a collector of the things they send, but there's so much meaning in it, and you always honor that. Yeah. I mean, seriously, a friend here brings me tons of gluten-free things that I usually have to end up giving to others, but they're all infused with the feeling the guy has, which is awesome. And that's what you honor, so to speak. Yeah, 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 yeah. People, yeah, it's just some people have sent me some weird shit, but they put a lot of effort into it, and it was really cool. And I always, so again, you know, prayer, whatever. See, if prayer is filled with an empty meaning, it's probably not going to go far. Yeah. But a wish without any envelope is going to get to the target, you know, no stamp at all. Yeah, I feel. So, yep. Look at the power that happens at these meetings. I don't know for you, for me. I've been amazed with it, how many a community has formed out of these Zooms. I mean, and yeah, it's just so much, it's sort of like, oh, that's just a seed. It's grown in a lot of different ways. It's a trip. And I always was a believer in live meeting more than anything, any transmission, but I was proven wrong like usual. And here you are. I mean, I'm never going to do a Zoom. And then thank God I've never done a Zoom. I'm just here. So, you know, it's, I like when life is right and I am wrong. I do. Works pretty good. So, everyone else? Anyone else?
No other hands right now, Paul.
Well, let's say goodbye to everyone. So Mike M, yes, kicking it in recovery. Oh, you got your Zen bitch slap bag. I just made another Zen bitch slap bag.
I love this bag. It's my favorite.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
She's my merch model. There you go. Yeah, I just finished another one today.
They're so nice.
Yeah. I gotta keep myself busy, you know, my little woodworking. All right, Clifford, always a pleasure, bro. Chiang Mai forever.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah. You know what I miss about Chiang Mai? I miss the sticky,
Calcite curry.
the sticky rice, mango, coconut milk.
Oh yeah. I have to limit myself to about, I don't know exactly, but maybe once every 2 months.
I know.
Otherwise, I would just sit there like a fucking Labrador, just eating this stuff.
The lady I used to see there, she never spoke English, and I don't speak Thai. I was going there many, many years. I would go there, and every year she gave me more. So by the end, I had a pound of sticky rice, a pint or two of coconut milk, and 2 mangoes.
Yeah. But mangoes are incredible, aren't they?
Oh, the best in the world. Yeah, much better
Just-
than anywhere else. Yeah. Mangoes are really
Sometimes when my family come over, and I've got 3 sons in London, and they come over, and because I've been here like 9 or 10 years, they've come over with different girlfriends as their relationships, and their girlfriends often say to me, "What should I eat?" I said, "Try that mango sticky rice," and just the look on their face, it's like they've snorted pure Colombian cocaine for the first time. Just the explosion.
Yes.
There's
And
no
you know,
word.
they can't do it close to it here.
Yeah,
They can't at the Thai restaurants. No way.
yeah.
All right, bro. Philip, it's a pleasure to see you, my man in Brisbane. My man in Brisbane, Philip. William Stamps. There she is, anew. I have an incredible Buddha head. I think it's right over there. It's waiting for a new.
Hey,
All right,
Paul,
honey. I'll see you soon, I hope.
I will be over.
All right, Marl, always a pleasure now. Yeah. David, down under, Mike G, San Clemente, Eric Platt Vista, Shannon Corkery. There she is. Bill Churchman, the SS Enterprise, the largest land aircraft carrier, his lazy boy. Pretty good. Alan Olson, nice to see you as always. Kerry in Hawaii, I think hopefully on his new property, his old property that he's working on. No? Betty, nice to see you. Dennis W. Mushumi, did I get it right? Mushumi in Sacramento. You're not that far from us. Terry Camarillo. Sabina, I just saw you at Brenda Lee restaurant in Dover, New Jersey. Yes? Nice to meet you.
Birria tacos.
Yes, tacos, very good tacos. Yes. I hope to see you again live someday, honey. And nice to see you. Yeah.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Zoe Banks, our girl in Japan, back in Arkansas. What a fucking culture shock.
Yeah.
Susanna W. Ooh, my friend Fletch. Just give me a call tomorrow, Fletch, sometime. I have that meeting at 10:30. Anand. We have, let's see, who else do we have here today? Phone numbers. David Bitterman, you made it back. Get that car checked out. I think I have everybody. Hey, thanks, everyone. Pleasure. We'll be here tomorrow. And then Saturday is the last live meeting we're having at Marin City after about, I don't know how many years, 18, 19 years. Yes. Yeah, we're gonna be, they're kicking us out finally. No.
So you'll do it from your house?
Yeah, I need to call up some places, but I haven't, but yes, it'll be at our house. For a while. All right. Yeah, the same, Zoom's the same, doesn't matter. Okay, so I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much.